Yeah, thanks for watching. This is part 4. There are 3 other parts before this. Vanagon, I'm going to call it Tips and Fixes. My channel is kind of homesteading, so you could probably find all 4 on there. It's the best I can do for um, showing what I know to look for to fixing the Vanagon. Thanks. The other one that I know of is underneath. So we go under. There's the bottom of the engine. See if I can find the thing. And also, I think, where is it? Right here. This big slotted screw head is the oil pressure spring. So it's right beside the oil filter. I actually took a paddle drill bit and cut off with a metal chop saw the pointy end of a paddle drill bit so it was flat, and I used that because you need a lot of torque, and so you can't get a screwdriver, flathead screwdriver big enough. So just cut off a big old flat paddle drill bit, the flat kind, cut the tip off and get it nice and flat, and it'll fit in there, and you can put the tip of those drill bits can fit inside of like a socket or a wrench, and then you can get torque on that. So because there's a spring and a ball bearing in there, it's something like an oil pressure sensor spring. And I took it out, and there's tips on things like that. Spring will get compressed inside there, so when you take this out, a spring and a ball bearing will fall out. And I think the ball bearing goes in first. I could be wrong. And then the spring. And the spring apparently gets collapsed, so you want to take that spring out and pull it and stretch it out just right, and then put it back in. So that's, or you could just buy a new spring and put it in, but it's right here under the engine, so that's easy to get to. I'm looking for the ground. Okay, where are you? I think it's, we gotta go back to the, let's see, that's the transmission pan. I had a little leak. I think it still does. I think mine's due for a new pan gasket. See, oh, there it is. Wait, no. Another thing I like to point out is just in front of the wheels here, you get this big tube, and it's the coolant tube that goes from the back of the engine to the front radiator. And you can see it's got those hose clamps right there and hose clamps on that side. And actually one day my wife was driving and these things wiggled themselves loose, and I think we had driven through some grass camping and stuff, and it started leaking, and it leaked all the coolant out. My wife was driving and it overheated and blew the head gaskets because it leaked coolant out of this. It's kind of low hanging big pipe here, and so you want to make sure that your especially if you do off-roading, there might be a way to raise it up higher, but if not, check your hose clamps or get some better clamps and clamp it nice and tight. As you can see, there's 2 on each side, so you don't want any leaks there. And for those who don't know, this right here is the valve cover. There's one on each side of the engine, and this right here little handle is a hinge clip, and you could pull it down. It's kind of rusted in there, but this kind of pulls out and then down, swings down, and then your valve cover will just come right off. So that's pretty easy. I've actually adjusted the valves myself too, and that wasn't very hard. That's like a whole tutorial video, and I'm sure that those are out there. But okay, so there is another ground strap back here that's on the transmission. So back there's your engine at the very back. You come forward, is your transmission, And the front of the transmission, above that, what holds the transmission in place, you got a ground strap attached to the frame, and then it attaches to the transmission over here. So I've pulled those off and cleaned them, just because it's a good idea to clean all of your grounds. So it's kind of midway under the vehicle. And over here, midway on that would be the passenger side, is your fuel filter. And that looks like it's just held on with hose clamps. That is a new fuel filter. I replaced it. It's really easy. Just a clamp on either side, pop the lines off, and I believe it's just held in with one little bolt to the frame. It just comes right off. So as far as I can tell, I might have left out a few ground straps. Let's see here. Go look one more time. Ground straps. Oh, so one thing I've had to replace was, for some reason, this hose right here. Is the phone upside down? Maybe. This is a little coolant line. On mine, it actually cracked and leaked. So maybe it's because it's such a sharp bend right here. 2 hose clamps. This was leaking pretty good on mine back in the day. So I was, that's something to just go ahead and check, because I think it's because of the sharp bend. You'll get a significant little leak out of that. So it's just a short little piece of hose. It's not too hard. Go ahead and replace that if you think it's old. Let's see, ground straps. Well, you just hunt for your ground straps. Sometimes people change and modify them. There's the also, I believe the injector control module is either in this back corner behind this little shield here. The computer has to do with fuel injection, or back here in this one. It's not back here because I can't see it. So I think I've had this off before and I saw it. And real quick, the main computer is right here under this seat, and kind of in front of the engine. And see these 2 posts here hold it on. You just lift it up, and it's going to be attached to the wire still. But your, I believe, called ECM, or your computer, is right here. And there's things you can check, but basically you want to check the connection, the wire connection to the computer, and because I've heard that it can get corroded. Mine's perfectly fine. It looks brand new, and so if that was a problem, I'd probably just replace the computer. But that's kind of spendy, so it's not the first thing you want to start with. But oh, here's a ground right here. Here's a ground right here. I've had that off before, and I wire brushed off the posts and kind of oiled it up. So, little ground wire. That's probably important because it is attached to the computer. So it's actually kind of rusty on the body right here. I might clean that up. But the post itself there is cleaned, and I wire brushed it. But it's getting kind of rusty on the body there. I'll probably clean that off. So yeah, that's all I can come up with so far. If I think of anything else, I'll add it in. Alright, thanks.